Hello and welcome to this episode of What in the World from the BBC World Service. I'm Hannah Gelbart. Now, donating your eggs to someone who can't conceive naturally seems like a pretty selfless thing to do. And in some parts of the world, it's also a way to make money. In the US, for example, there are ads for egg donors on uni campuses and on social media. It's seen as a way to help students pay off their bills, their loans, even just to go on holiday. The process itself does carry some risks, and different countries have different laws about how much women can be paid, if they're paid at all. So today you're going to hear from some women who have decided to donate their eggs, and we're going to have a look at how it works in different parts of the world. To talk us through it, I'm here in the studio with Charlotte Edwards, a BBC business reporter. Hello and welcome to the podcast.
Hello, thank you for having me.
It's great to have you. Can you just talk me through what the actual process of donating your eggs involves?
So a lot of people don't realise how invasive the procedure actually is. You inject a lot of hormones and then you go through an egg scraping process where essentially you're put to sleep and a needle is inserted and eggs are removed, and you might produce up to 10 eggs during that round of basically this first part of IVF.
And you're given all those hormones because naturally women would produce one egg a month and suddenly you're having to have 10 that are ripe and ready to go.
Yeah, you want as many as possible.
Can anyone do it? Are there restrictions on who can donate their eggs?
There are restrictions, and it depends what part of the world you're in. In the UK, generally it's 18 to 34 or 35. You have to be that age. But then even if you are that age, you have to be medically well enough and also mentally well enough. There's a lot of physical and mental situations that you need to put yourself through. So everybody that wants to donate will go through a very strict process before they're even allowed to go in to start doing the hormones.
And part of that process is they check you and they screen you for all kinds of genetic diseases and all of that.
Yes.
What are the side effects of this very invasive process that you've described? First of all, you're injecting yourself with hormones and then you're put to sleep and someone sticks a needle inside your ovaries.
So generally, most women are told that the side effects will be minor, but of course with any procedure and one that's quite invasive, there can be more extreme side effects. Some people have ended up in menopause early, or they've had swollen ovaries. Some people have had blood clots. So it's not a decision to take lightly, but then a lot of other women just have symptoms which are like a heavy period or just menstrual cramps, things like that. So some people have a lot of symptoms and some people don't really have any at all.
And we're born with a finite number of eggs.
Yes.
So donating a number of them, 10, 20, does that affect or could it possibly affect our fertility down the line?
So we don't actually have that much research on how it will affect our fertility, but it can do. Say if the procedure went wrong or you had some sort of reaction to the hormonal treatment, then it could affect your fertility. But in general, it's not supposed to, because the idea is women are going to be producing these eggs anyway. So why not give one away, give 10 away, and then you're still going to go through the process yourself and naturally produce eggs if you're within that age bracket.
So those are kind of the physical parts of the process, but there is also, as you mentioned, a really important mental aspect, which is that you're giving away your eggs, which means that people with your DNA might be walking around the earth in years to come. Is there any way for your potential children to contact you in the future?
So again, it depends what country you're in. In the UK, legally, they are allowed to contact you once they turn 18. However, you as a donor have no responsibility to speak to them if you don't want to. You have no financial obligation towards your biological children that are born in this way. It's different in different countries. I know in Spain, for example, you can donate anonymously and then that biological child could never find out who their biological mother or, say, sperm donation father was. And in 2022, Colorado became the first state in America to say it's illegal to donate if you're not going to provide this information so that a future child can contact you.
As we heard, some students in the US are donating their eggs because they can be paid quite a lot for it. How much money can you make from it?
I was actually so heavily advertised to donate my own eggs on TikTok that's why I started to do the research. In the UK, it used to be that you got about £750. That's recently gone up to £985.
So that's a bit more than $1,000.
Yes. And it's not a payment in the UK. It's illegal to pay someone for their eggs. It's compensation. So you're supposed to spend it on travel and any like travel expenses. People don't necessarily have to do that, but it is a compensation. Whereas in the US, people get a lot more. They can get $5,000. I spoke to one woman who was paid $12,000 for her donation process, and she used that money to move abroad.
And what about other countries? Does the US stand out as the place where women can be paid the most for it, or other countries as well?
I would say the US definitely stands out because it's not one set payment. So a lot of people do just receive about $5,000, which is obviously still a lot of money, but it depends on the quality of your eggs and how many times you've donated. So people can receive tens of thousands of dollars there. In Europe, it's generally a lot lower. The UK used to be one of the places where you received the least amount of compensation. I know Spain, you generally get over €1,000, sometimes even double that or more, depending on how many times you've donated. So it really does depend where you're donating, the clinic, and sometimes the quality of your eggs and your age.
So we've heard about the financial benefits of donating in some countries. What are some of the other reasons that women give for donating their eggs?
So I actually spoke to a non-binary person who is a Black lesbian, and they donated because they realised their community was one of the most underserved communities when it came to donating eggs. A lot of people want to have a child that is the same background as them. And in the UK especially, most donors are white women. So people might feel they want to donate because they want to help people like them, also have a family. There's lots of different reasons. You might want to help a family or a friend, or you might just want to help a stranger.
Now you're going to hear from two women who have donated their eggs. First up is Elaine, who has donated 3 times here in the UK.
I remember when I first heard about egg donation, I was at university and there was a lecturer who came in to talk to us about gamete donation, what that means. And I remember she was saying that there was a shortage of ethnic minority egg donors, and the fact that because there was such a shortage, there were long waiting lists, and it occurred to me that, there are all these people who are Chinese heritage who also experience fertility problems, and they're trying to start a family, but they just don't have the egg donors to match what they're looking for. And I remember the professor was talking about how they wanted tall people to donate, and the fact that they wanted people who are in higher education to donate. And I just thought, oh my gosh, the 3 things. I'm tall, I'm ethnic minority, and I'm in higher education right now. And I thought, she's talking to me. And I remember she put that idea in my head that, maybe this is something that I really want to do, and I could help families feel more complete. So I was at university in the US when the college professor talked to us about egg donation, and she said that, there's quite a lot of money in egg donation. And I just remember the whole lecture hall was like, ooh. It was after I graduated university and I came back to the UK. I thought, this is something that I had wanted to do, so I followed up with it in the UK. As a result of my donation in 2017, there was a boy that was born in 2018. When I went to ask if there had been any more offspring, they said that the rest of my eggs had been frozen for sibling use. So that family got all the eggs from 2017, and so far they've been frozen as embryos, potentially to be this boy's younger siblings. I don't really feel like I'm a mum, because the thing is with egg donation is that I didn't carry this child in pregnancy. I haven't given birth to this child, so I'm not really mothering this child. I see it as like when you do egg donation, you give a gift, this one-off gift to a family who really, really want it. I remember after I had done the procedure, I felt like cramps, like normal period cramps. So that was the extent of it. I think everyone is a little bit different. But from the 3 times I did it, I remember, because I had a good experience with the first time and the second time, the third time I was like, yeah, it's fine, I'll go to work after, but I should not have done that. I think you do need to rest your body.
Now I'm going to speak to someone from Nigeria who has donated her eggs, Ebimoboere Ibinabo Dan-Asisahin. Hi, welcome.
Hello, hi.
So what were your reasons for doing this, for donating?
I think first and foremost, curiosity. I didn't know that people could donate their eggs in Nigeria. So when I came across somebody's advertisement looking for egg donors on WhatsApp. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
And what was the process like for you?
It wasn't as easy as I imagined it would be. And it was also quite, I think at some points, like pretty painful. So yeah, I would say it was a mixed bag.
Can you talk me through the different stages of the process? What happened, what it involved?
First, I was put on oral contraceptives. I was then put on injections to stimulate my ovaries into producing more eggs. And after I taken the injections for, I think, 2 weeks, I went back to the hospital for a transvaginal scan where they were able to ascertain, okay, the eggs are ready for harvesting. And then I was sent back home for, I think, another week. And then I went back to the hospital, and it was one final dose of injection that I had to take at a specific time the night before. And then I had to show up at the hospital the next day and at a specific time go into surgery to get the eggs removed. Put under anesthesia. When I woke up a few hours later, the eggs had already been extracted. And I think I went home that same day, and I spent the next couple of days, a week, recovering.
Did you have any side effects from it?
I assume it's a lot like being pregnant in like the first trimester. So there was nausea, there was like a lot of tenderness in the chest area. My appetite skyrocketed basically, and I was hungry all the time. And I was also quite tired a lot, and taking the injections were really, it was really quite taxing on my body because, there was breakouts all over my face. I was like really sensitive emotionally. Yeah, so I would say it's like what a PMS is, for like way worse.
Is it something that women are paid for in Nigeria? Were you paid yourself?
Yes, it is something that women are paid for. Even then, based on like the processes we had gone through, was ridiculously underpaid.
Did you ever find out who got your eggs?
It felt like a business transaction, like take my eggs, pay my money, send me on my way. That's what it felt like. So there was no we're reaching out to you to give you like an update or like just a general like checking up on you afterwards to see if you were okay. There was none of that. So I actually don't know if like a viable fetus came out of the egg donation or not.
How do you feel about the whole thing? It's been a couple of years since you had the process done. How do you feel about it? Would you do it again?
It feels now in retrospect a bit dehumanizing in the way, the egg donors were treated, how they were communicated with. I don't feel regrets, but looking back and, the processes, the pain, the injections, the hormones, I don't think I will put my body through that again.
Ebimo, thank you so much for coming on the podcast and for sharing your story. So Charlotte, how does egg donation work in different parts of the world? We've heard from the UK there, from Nigeria.
It really varies, like we've already spoken about, with your age, whether you want to donate to a family member or a friend. If you're over 35 and you want to donate to a family member, that's fine. You could be 42 and donate your eggs. So it really does depend. And then obviously the compensation is different in all parts of the world, and who can donate their eggs is also different in different parts of the world. That's often why Spain is considered the egg donation capital of Europe, because the laws there are quite relaxed on who can donate and who can receive eggs. You don't necessarily have to be married. You can be in a same-sex relationship. So it's really popular to donate in Spain, for example.
And is that age limit, the 18 to 35 we've been talking about, is that because your eggs are better when you're younger? They kind of go off as you get older?
Yes. So as females age, their egg quality declines, and it can also be tougher on your body to go through that IVF process, essentially, when you're older as well. So it's generally for your health and also the quality of the eggs.
And is this something that happens all around the world, or are there some countries where it's not allowed?
There are some countries where it's not allowed. Turkey, for example, it is illegal to donate eggs and sperm there. A lot of Muslim communities don't believe that you should donate eggs or sperm. Some Islamic communities believe that an egg cannot be inseminated with another person's sperm if it's not your husband. So that makes it more complicated, because you couldn't just give an egg away to someone and not know what was going to happen to that egg. So it really depends what what's like the general belief in certain countries.
And we're talking about this because you yourself have seen ads for it on TikTok. It's all over socials targeting women of a certain age. Would you think of doing it yourself?
It's a really difficult question. And I don't think I ever considered it until I started researching the topic and speaking to a lot of egg donors, and they all had these selfless reasons for doing it. And it really did make me think whether I would do it one day. It's not something I had considered before. I wouldn't necessarily do it for financial reasons. It would be a selfless act, I guess, to help someone who couldn't have a child. So I think I would consider it, yeah.
It's a really, really interesting subject,
Yes.
and it's something that is just so personal, isn't it? Charlotte, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us for this episode of What in the World from the BBC World Service. I'm Hannah Gelbart, and you can get in touch with us anytime. We are on WhatsApp, we're on Instagram. You can just leave us a comment below, and do check out some of our other episodes here on YouTube. We'll be back with another one soon. See you then. Bye.